Just past 9 o'clock, and for really the first time all Syracuse basketball season, at least once the game started, a somewhat ho-hum win. Yeah, we haven't really had one of those thus far this year. 102-85. Extremely high-scoring game in the Dome tonight. Syracuse knocks off Albany by 17, improves to 9-0. There's counting. 9-0 all-time against the Great Danes. And actually, after the weird start of being down 7-2 or whatever it was, took control of the game, and we're just kind of up by 10-15-ish for the majority of the remainder of the game. Very balanced scoring output. Donnie Freeman missed the start today with personal issues, came off the bench, and had a career-high 24 points. So that went all okay. Chris Bell, somehow 18 points, did not make a three. 12 assists in the game for Jaquan Carlos. He goes a double-double, adding 12 points to that. Kyle Cuff had 10 points in the first half. Did he even play in the second half? Yeah, there we are. The Orange cruise by 17 today over Albany is how it ends up in the ball game today. All right, phone lines open over the course of the next hour. You know the number, 315-437-7644. Give a ring to join us. We'll be with you till roundabouts 10 o'clock. Coming up in 10, 15 minutes or so, give or take, we'll have Red Autry's full post-game press conference for you, brought to you by our friends at RomanoCars.com. We'll be checking you out in the chat, QSportsTalk.com on the Twitch, Q Sports Talk on the YouTube page. We'll have eyes on both throughout the show as well today for you. So all that's going on here today as we get you rolling for Cuse and Albany in the postgame as Syracuse wins this one by 17. I don't know. This is one of those games where I don't think Albany is any great shakes. It was kind of a sluggish start. Donnie Freeman inserted off the bench, gave him a little shot in the arm. We saw the first ever start for Chapel Moore, just 6 points today for Chapa, but he had his moments. Eddie Lampkin, 6 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. He looked a little more spry than he had in the first half. He was moving better than he had a couple of nifty passes, as he is off to do out there. So I'd say there was a lot more good in this game than we've seen of late. Team shot 63%. But there's also some kind of what actually do we make out of it? Like on the face of it today, we know Syracuse's three-point shooting this year has been atrocious, one of the worst teams in the country. Today, the Orange shot 40% from three. All right. On the face of it, 40% from three sounds great, right? 40% from three sounds great. Diving a little deeper here, the Orange went 6 of 15 from three. Donnie Freeman went 4 for 4, which, while outstanding, doesn't necessarily feel sustainable. And Kyle Cuff went 2 for 2, shot 3 of 3 for the game, had 10 points in 12 minutes, which, again, great, not necessarily sustainable. So there is the balance to it. The Orange 16 of 18 at the line today. Great to see them make their free throws. Hopefully that continues. The Chris Bell season remains a mystery. 18 points, great. Made all his free throws today, great. Missed all of his three-pointers, odd, but good to see him make some shots again today. So all in all, a positive day for Syracuse basketball. But, grain of salt, it's Albany. You beat him by 17. Your next opponent, Georgetown, absolutely just blew the ever-loving doors off Albany and won by, I believe it was 32 points a couple of weeks ago. So we'll see how it all goes here going forward. But a solid game tonight, a good game, in many ways the best they have looked this season offensively, and we'll see if they can keep it going. Donnie Freeman, I think you take anything out of this, the strange thing, personal reasons, missed the start. But if you want to, again, I say this, if you want to explore a way for Syracuse to find anything resembling a ceiling for their team this year, Donnie Freeman is no-brainer your most talented player here, right? Like, you can argue who's better if you insert like J.J. Starling back in the conversation. Obviously, he's out now with injury. But if Donnie Freeman He's now at 320 or more points now in his last 4 games. Yo, that's really good. I don't care where you're playing, when you're playing. He's had 3 games, keeps increasing his career highs at a 20, a 23, and a 24 in their last 4 games. He was a top 10 recruit, McDonald's All-American, the whole thing. Not that he's going to go 4 for 4 from 3 every day or maybe any day again, but he just keeps making steps on offense here. And if he can keep doing that, I think that alters the complexion of the team a little bit because he's the one that certainly projects in a way that it's, that's being done with talent and skill. That's not anything kooky or anything like that. So good to see from Donnie Freeman. So despite the weird circumstances of today, with him being a little, being held out of the starting lineup due to personal reasons, sounds like everything's okay for him. We'll see if Red addresses that post game today. But one of those things where all told, all in, Syracuse, a 17-point win. Spread got interesting there, Lee. Spread was 12.5 in this game. That was like, those last possessions mattered to some tonight, as they'd say. There were some intriguing options going along with that once the game was decided, but wink, wink, nudge, nudge there in the last minute or two of the game. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a break right now. We'd like to get a quick one out of the way just to make sure we're ready to go. That's 2 readies. Ready, willing, and able. That's even better for when Red starts his post-game press conference. So we'll step aside. Phone lines open when we come back. 315-437-7644. Red Autry's post-game press conference live and in full before too long. We're back after this on Cuse Sports Talk and ESPN Radio.
Water Sales and Service.
Oh, Dan, there's a question. My question hurts my brain a little. Choppa didn't get. They scored 102, Coach T. Oh, have they posted the attendance yet? The announced attendance tonight, 19,354. So there was 19,000 people there at Dinkey's Pond, except no follow-up questions. There was 19,000 there, LA Orange. No further questions. There was not 19,000 there. Yeah, it looked empty. That is the announced attendance. Yeah, I didn't really notice them playing zone, Zach. The Big Duke, friend of the show. It's just disappointing how small the small crowds are getting, Super Cat. That was empty. I don't know if you're getting a 19K even counting both cheeks, DAs. That looked empty. It looked sparse. Yeah, we'll see how, it is Georgetown, but it doesn't quite have the same. I know the women's crowd is packed more together, but yeah, it's probably closer than they'd like. Yeah, Super Cat, but it's not that many years ago where anybody on a Tuesday night would have had twice that. Basketball game day doesn't start till January, APH. Yeah, Kev's got butts on seats. It's a colonoscopy joke. I mean, ESPN has valued the game so much it's on at 2:30 on ACC Network. Not yet, Cuse fan. He did have 12 assists. Freeman was great. I'm going to bet Pat Red will be quick to the podium today. That's my guess based on a game like that. It's my guess. Let me see if I can figure it out based on the box score. All right. Back at it here. Post-game coverage. Phone lines available. 315-437-7644. I'm projecting, based on little to no information or knowledge, that Red Autry will be our way sooner than later. That just kind of feels like a game that doesn't necessarily necessitate a lengthy post-game locker room team chat before heading out to the podium, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll get Red here sooner than later, live and in full on our radio coverage here and on Cuse Sports Talk as we continue to dig in on this 102-85 win for Syracuse over Albany. I'd say, 102, great. We like to see 102. 85, not as thrilling. The defense of this year's team is still not up to snuff here for sure, and I don't know if it is or capable or will ever be up to snuff. But hey, you got 5 in double figures tonight, and we're seeing more and more and more. If you want to talk about, okay, what tonight was sustainable? Is Jaquan Carlos dropping 12 assists every game? No, though he did play well tonight, 12 points and 12 assists. Is Kyle Cuff giving you 10 off the bench in the first half in 12 minutes every night? No. The Donnie Freeman thing, though, continues to progress. And it's totally unfair because he's not out the box right like, Carmelo Anthony. But, man, he's got 20-plus points in 3 of the last 4 games. All right, let's hit the phones. Steve in North Syracuse is first up with us tonight. Hey, Steve.
Yeah, I'm in kind of we can't have nice things mode. It was 66-42 with 12 minutes and 19 seconds left, and I thought, well, this is a performance that'll blow away all the dark clouds and answer the critics and produce some good feeling. The last 12-19, we scored 36 points. They scored 43, which is more than they'd scored in the first 27 minutes and 41 seconds. The big things were that we didn't rebound, and we didn't play much defense after we'd rebounded very well and played pretty good defense to build up the lead. So we wound up with a little bit of a sour taste anyway. But there were a lot of excellent individual performances, especially Freeman with his 24 points, some great passing by Eddie Lampkin. Carlos had 12 assists, which is kind of what we had in mind when he brought him here. Jair Davis was 7 for 7 from the field. Chris Bell scored 18 points, even though he didn't make a 3, which made you wonder how many points he would have scored if he was making threes. I've felt all along that if you have 1 or 2 guys playing well, you'll probably lose. If If you have 3 or 4 guys playing well, you probably win. And if you have more than that playing well, you're going to blow somebody's doors off. We've got a lot of guys who can have good games, but we've only had 1 or 2 of them doing it at a time. So maybe things are kind of coming together there, but the loss of defensive intensity down the stretch was still kind of alarming.
Yeah, Steve, I'd say it fizzled out there over, the last 10 minutes or so, and Syracuse did surrender 51 points after halftime. Yeah, I'd agree with you, Steve. Like, it was one where it's like, yeah, this is going to be a whole hummer. They're going to win by 20+, and not that they were ever in danger of losing, right? It got a little head-scratching there in the last few minutes.
Yeah, it was like ordering your favorite meal at a restaurant, and it just didn't taste like it was supposed to taste.
Yeah, a slightly weird aftertaste on this one, but we'll take it, the 17-point win. All right, Steve, thank you as always for the phone call and breakdown of that one. All right, let's get another call in here before, let's see. We'll, no red yet? Red yet? No red yet? All right, well, let's go to Pat. Hey, Pat, what's going on?
Hey, this was the first game that it didn't feel like we lost. I don't know. Somebody put in
that's a good way to phrase it, Pat. That's a good way to phrase it.
I think Childress does a good job with some of his commentary, and some of it can be less than good. But some of the things that he brings to the table, the main thing that hit me tonight is why we don't play zone, and Lampkin jumps less off the ground than Jimmy Boeheim. I don't think I've ever seen a D1 player jump less than him. Now, I don't know if he's hurt, if it's his back. Obviously we knew coming in, right? What did we say, Brian, in the summer? He had 2 blocks all senior season or something like that?
He had 7 last year, I believe the number was.
Oh, 7.
Yes.
7. Yeah, so, the difference in the game is two things. First, obviously, Freeman hitting 4 threes, which is more than he did all year. But to me, the play of the game is late in the game. Chris Bell, when you think he's going to actually shoot or go to the rim, he pulled it out. And it's just like, those are the type of stupid plays he normally doesn't make. He normally makes a stupid play. That was a good, junior play. Mm-hmm. He also had a couple plays where he's driving. He had a good game, definitely. But there's obviously something going on with his shot, because I don't know if you have the box score there, but how many threes did he shoot even?
He was 0 for 3 from 3, 6 of 13 overall, 6 of 6 at the line tonight for 18 points.
Yeah. So obviously they're still guarding him. He's still missing them, and then he's taking what the defense gives him, and now he's making it from the line. But the bad part of this season is 2 things: the injury to JJ and the horrific start. And something hit me late in this game that I don't think I've heard anybody say, but maybe people are thinking it, but I haven't heard anybody say it. One of the reasons Carlos is struggling is the guys that need to score weren't scoring. Mm-hmm. Lampkin, for sure, 100%. He needed Lampkin to get more buckets each game off assists, and then these point guards feed off those assists.
A couple easy ones early, but I thought the second half it was good up until the last probably 7, 8 minutes. We stopped playing. Got a lead, stopped playing. I put some people in I thought were ready. They wasn't ready. That was on me, and we made it a game. We shouldn't have made this a game, but we did, and I'll take the blame on that. I subbed in a couple of guys, and we probably shouldn't have did that. But overall, I thought Donnie played really well. He gave us a big boost. I thought, everybody that pretty much played gave us something. But it was just that last 8 to 9 minute stretch, 7, 8 minute stretch where we just got all out of whack. And, I thought JC did a good job at the end of stepping up, making some free throws, getting the ball to the right people at the right time. I think he had a double-double. And so, I was happy for him. Obviously he's had his, ups and downs. I think the last 2 games he's really kind of, steadied the ship. Obviously trying to, continually hold this team together until we get JJ back. I think that'll really help us. I thought at the end, we played a little bit of zone. Thought the zone it worked. We got him to miss, but we couldn't get the rebound. So, again, just very disappointing the way we played the last 7, 8 minutes. And we just got to, do better. But, again, the first half, we held them to 34 points. Second half, 51. That's just, that's where the frustration is at. So, I think, I just thought we stopped playing. Questions?
you look at it, Jared Davis went 7 for 7. You mentioned Donnie Green went 10 for 13. Just what some of these new faces have been doing, not just in this game, but overall up to this point.
Well, I think Jair and Donnie, obviously, those two guys can score, but we needed them to do a little bit more. You know, we need these guys to rebound the ball a little bit more. And Jair's an unbelievable rebounder. And I thought he had a couple that he just watched at the end. And I told him, I said, you one of the best rebounders, out there. And, you got to go get that. Offensively, these guys can score. They can step out. They can make a couple of shots. They're good around the basket. They're a big part of what we're doing. We got one of the better front courts, I believe, in the country, productive front courts in the country. But we got to get these guys and our team better, on the other end, as far as rebounding the ball, and finishing off stops. We got them to miss a couple of times, and we don't come up with the rebound. So, we gave away too many points like that. Our whole team, I said, block out all the noise, keep playing. All right, again, we haven't played our best basketball yet. We know what we're capable of, and I just told those guys to block out the noise, go out there and play. It's hard for these young men, in today's world. Everyone has an opinion, everyone has something, that's the challenge that we have as coaches and the staff, to try to get these guys with a clear mind and be confident and keep playing. And, again, that's, we had that talk. I told him to, go out there and just play. Don't worry about it. Just play.
Speaking of the noise, after the Derby game, Derek seemingly tweeted something to team shots at A, considering some water account, Senior 44. I wonder if you saw that tweet.
Heard about the tweet, but no comments.
Chris has been struggling a little bit offensively, especially if you're calling the shot. What do you think about his?
Well, I thought Chris today was really aggressive. He got 13 shots up. I thought he got out and transitioned a little bit, got a couple of ones. I just like where his mindset was at in the last couple of days. We've made a concerted effort to try to get him, moving a little bit more, coming off some pin downs, playing two-man game. Again, I was happy with the way Chris played. He got 6 rebounds today. Chris really, even though he missed 3 shots, he had 3 wide opens. But it'll come for him. I think he's obviously pressing a little bit, but I just thought, he showed more of his game today, by getting to the basket, a couple of pull-ups. He's starting to get some and ones by off movement, some rim too. So that's good, because now when his shot starts to come back, he's going to be a really tough cover.
So Diamond starts tonight. I want you to address that, number one. And number two, he made 4 threes today. He has struggled over to make 3. Let's talk about his progression to be.
Yeah, so Donnie didn't start today because he wasn't feeling well, so it was a game time decision. But whatever he has, he needs to keep that. All right, if he can keep playing like that, whatever he was feeling. But no, he didn't feel well. But it was a game time decision. And he came and he said, "I'm ready to go." So, I think again, Donnie's obviously, when you shoot, I think he shoots about 80% from the free throw line, or high 70s, whatever. Typically, when you're a good free throw shooter, you can step out a couple of more feet and make threes, and he hasn't made it. Our team hasn't made threes yet, and I thought today that was the difference, being able to at least get 6 of them. I thought that was the difference, and we, I told our guys, just, we get them open, you take the shots. Don't worry about it.
Coach, last 7 or 8 minutes, you said you had a level of frustration in the last 7 or 8 minutes. Was it the fact that the players you subbed in weren't ready, as you said, or was it lack of effort that frustrated?
I think it was, we work a lot on, different reads and different passes and types of passes that you could make on the perimeter, I just thought we gave the ball away. I thought we got lucky on a press break. We worked on a press break. We knew they were going to set a press, so we got lucky on a couple. I just didn't like the way, the effort. And then again, they were driving right past us at the end. Obviously, they put their heads down. And the tendency in that moment when you get up big is, what I was trying to tell them every time out. Like, they're going to keep playing. They're going to put their head down. They got to get themselves back. And then they started making a couple of threes, which, they've done that the last couple of games. Previous games before that, they didn't make shots. And again, I went to the zone, which I thought would slow them down a little bit, and it did. I mean, we just didn't get the rebound. That's the frustrating part, that we couldn't execute. We get a stop, we got to get the rebound. That was the biggest thing, and they got three offensive rebounds, and I think they got some points off of that. So that was what I was frustrated about. we got an older group and we play like freshmen at the end of the game. That's what I was mad about.
Greg, you've been coaching for a while. Have you had to change your style at all this year to adapt to the team?
Well, I think we've had to change. Obviously, the biggest thing is not having JJ. And I thought, right up until he had his hand injury, I thought we were starting to, kind of form, what the team is. And I think we still have it. And I think JJ played really, really well. And I think everyone kind of knows how important he is for us. And so, again, when you have these teams and you get new guys step into roles, you just, you never know how long it's really going to take, when you play when you're out there playing. And again, sometimes you hope that it happens quick. This team, for some reason, we haven't had a chance hasn't happened quick enough as far as gelling and playing the way I want to play. And, I thought today, the first half was kind of a glimpse of it. I thought, we played better defense. I thought we got the rebound. We got out, we got some easy transition points. The last couple of games, 3 or 4 games, we've been grinding. That's, we want to try to get out and get some easy baskets when we can.
I think more along the lines of you coaching style of how you
my coaching style. No, I think obviously I have kids around this age, so I understand it is a little different. You do have to change. You have to communicate a little differently. The old way, so to speak, doesn't always, get the results that you want. So, but I think this group right here, for me, I really haven't changed. I think I've changed a little bit. I think I'm, again, like really learning them in the fire. Like you can train all day, but when you get in the ring and you get into games, like, people do different things. So learning how to communicate with those guys, I've changed that a little bit.
JJ, how much more of a lift are you asking from Kyle Love? You see that a little bit?
Yeah, I thought Kyle gave us a big lift today. Every time Kyle's come, he's gotten in, he's given us, some type of spark. And, but we need production. Again, at the end of the day, we need, all hands on deck. Again, I still believe this is a team that can play, 8 or 9, but it's not going to be that. It's not going to be 8 or 9 if we do that. I just can't. I can't do that. Again. So
I was asking you about that. You talked about you have 10 or 11 guys who can play. You played 10 tonight. You feel like you need to shorten the rotation to get the team to play more cohesively?
I think if when you talk about those guys, that's kind of at the end with our team, they all can bring something. It's just a matter of, for me, my challenge is to being able to try to put them in the right situations and getting them ready. Obviously, trying to, just in particular, trying to, get Chance ready. I think people seen today, like, he's not there yet, trying to get him ready. I thought, he's making progress. So again, it depends on the game. It really does. It depends on what you need. Being able to have that bench and be able to look down the bench and kind of bring someone that can bring something, that's a good thing to have. And I think that's what we do have.
Yeah. So you mentioned JJ. Do you have an update on him? Number 1 and number 2 is started Elijah Moore tonight. I'm curious about why you did that.
No update on JJ. I think he's going to go see someone next week or something like that. So I don't have any updates on JJ. Hopefully we'll have one, in the next couple of days, and hopefully it's some good news. Elijah, I thought we needed, someone else in there to give us a punch and, some scoring punch, and a guy that can kind of make plays off the bounce. I thought, when we started Lucas the other day, we wanted him, we kind of were thinking more defensive minded. And I think our offense, took a hit from that. We only scored 64 points, but we had a lot of empty possessions. So, and Chopper's really, Elijah, is really developed defensively. He's getting better and better, but I just like what he brings. He has playmaking ability. He can shoot the ball. So I just think, for right now when JJ's out, I think, that was something that, I had been thinking about.
I know Saturday marks the 100th game between I'm going to call up their team. These guys, do you have to tell them?
I do. I do.
Prime example.
Yeah, I do. We will. They'll understand. Again, they'll understand. Again, it's fun. It's a great rivalry. Again, most of us in here, we know what the rivalry is, but some of these guys, they don't. So, and I'm sure Coach Cooley is doing the same thing with his guys. So, again, I think it's going to be, an exciting game. I think every team, both teams will be prepared to go.
You mentioned that Cooley, last year after the game down there, he said he didn't get it until like the last couple minutes of the game. And he said it would be different. What do you expect to see from Ed? And what is it might be different than last year?
I mean, they have a good team. They playing well. I'm sure he's excited about his team, and he's they playing well so far. So I expect him to come in, no different than last year. Play tough, play hard. They got guys that can score. They can go inside. You got a very good balanced team. Again, you can do all the rhetoric, the talk, and all that, but I'm not playing. He's not playing. It's those guys out there playing. So, but I'm sure he'll have his team ready, and I'll have our guys ready.
You mentioned a lot of individual performances that stood out to you tonight. How did those performances give this team confidence after the last few games?
Well, I think it was our best offensive output all year. And I thought we had 23 assists, things that we talk about. We took care of the basketball for the most part. I think, 11, we could have reduced those a little bit. But, I thought we had balance. Like I said, I thought everyone that came into the game contributed. We made, I thought we had a good balance. Right now we're not shooting the ball well, but, we took 15 threes, and I think we probably got to take a couple more, some more just to give ourselves a chance. Like with Notre Dame, we didn't score any. We only took 9. So if you only take 9, you're not going to give yourself a lot of chances to make them. So, that's what we talked about, giving ourselves a chance to make some more threes and take some more threes. So we got to take some more. So I thought that was really good that we were able to get, 18 points from 3 points, and our 2 points. We've been doing a really good job, being able to manufacture those, scoring. Today was a good sign also. We made our free throws, we made our free throws, 16 for 18. Free throws matter, right? And so I was happy about that. But again, we just got to keep working. We just got to keep getting better. We haven't played our best basketball yet. We just haven't. And I thought today was a little step forward on the offensive end. I thought defensively, the first half was probably one of our better halves this year. The second half, like I said, I was disappointed that we gave up that many points in the second half.
One more. Coach, what do you want your team to most take away from the match here for the rivalry game on Saturday?
Well, we just, we try to get better after every game. After every game, we break it down. We see, we pull good. We pull things that we want to learn from, what we need to improve on. So I'm sure it's a lot of things that we'll take, especially in that last 7 to 8 minutes, and continue to improve on our zone defense and our zone rebound. And that's the one thing that we got to do a better job of. We will, mix it up every now and then and play that. And we can be good at it. We just got to be a little bit better at it. But the one thing I'll take from this is that the positives were we shared the ball, we took care of it, and for the most part, we did a decent, continually doing a decent job on the glass. Didn't like the 12 offensive rebounds, but that came, pretty much late. We got to, shore up some things as far as getting ready for Saturday. We got to, be able to continually, get stops, stops or rebounds. So we got to continually get some stops. We got to be able to, keep the ball in front of us. For the most part, we did. It was just that last 7 or 8 minutes that we couldn't contain the ball. We kind of looked like we stopped playing, and I was frustrated with that.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, a lengthy Red Osdrie press conference today. Yeah, a little more relaxed when he win by 17. Though, as Red said, it got, I don't want to say tight. Like, they were never in danger of losing the game, but it was an 11-point game with minute and a half left. 6-0 run to end the game. Get the cover, the whole thing. So we'll see how that goes. All right. Is Pat still hanging on? He was very patient. Pat,
going on, Brian?
You still there, Pat? Hey, you hung on for quite some time. All right, Pat. Where were you? What were we talking about?
The biggest thing that I'm looking at moving forward is, what do we got to do to make anybody really care? I mean, basically that loss to Notre Dame, I mean, basically you look at all the games that we look like we could have lost, but we were able to pull out, Lemoyne, Youngstown State, really every game. We didn't get an outcome that we were looking for. Obviously, Texas and Tennessee, those games weren't going to hurt you, but our net is so atrocious. I was just trying to look at the schedule. I mean, Georgetown is not really going to help us, and they could definitely beat us, and they might even be favored to beat us. I'm very concerned from a matchup standpoint with their big. I don't understand how many minutes. I should look at the bottom. Why did Lampkin play so much? I mean, I feel like the way Jair Davis is playing with Freeman. I mean, what other lineup could you have? I don't see Davis playing the 3 or Freeman, so why not get those two guys on the fly? I mean, Jair was having a great game, and he sat for like 15 minutes straight.
What do we got? Total minutes tonight. Freeman played 23, Lampkin 25, Davis played 18.
Okay, so Lampkin only played 25. That's about what he should play. I don't think he should be playing. I mean, first of all, there's too many reasons. I mean, he's just not more than a 25-minute guy. He's not scoring enough. His defense isn't good enough. His rebounding's okay. This season comes down really to if Bell could be one of the best shooters that the ACC can offer, then we might be at least a little bit interesting. But without that, we just don't have enough because with Chapa in there, who's sitting? Is he going to play with Carlos? Then you're too little. Is he going to play point and then Carlos sits? Two more points, and I appreciate the time.
Mm-hmm.
The one point, Chance had a chance to finish out the first half, and he took him out with like a minute left in the first half. I'm like, just let him play. Like, I don't understand how he's going to get him in game shape when he's playing like 2 minutes at a time. I just think that's really, really perplexing to me. Like, let him play 5 minutes. I mean, I'm sure 3 or 4 years ago he was playing for 5 hours straight in the summer because that's what these kids do. So I'm fairly certain he could play 5 minutes without getting winded. So I don't like that. And I'd like to see more of Davis with Freeman. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I like that pairing. I mean, I'll say this about Lampkin. I thought Eddie, especially in the first half, I mean, he was looking a little more, quick movement-wise than he has recently. I thought he was playing decently there in the first half. He ended up with 6 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. I think realistically,
his passing was great.
Yeah, I feel any combination of those three, as long as Lampkin is mobile that day, can work. So I'd say, yeah, what did Davis have, 18 minutes today? I'd say if you get them all in the 20s, I think that's reasonable going forward, because I think you got to have some depth. I think they all need to play going forward. But I think to your other point, Pat, you're also right. You can't play all three of them together. I mean, they're 3 of your 5 best players probably, but there's no real logical scenario they can all be on the court at the same time.
Yeah, and then where's the cut line? I mean, to me, if there's a guy's minutes who should be gone, it should be Taylor, not Cuff. I think it's very obvious that Taylor. I just don't see it with Taylor. I mean, he can't make a 3. He can't set the table for anybody else, and I would rather have Cuff in there, even though he's little. I just think Cuff. I mean, he attacks the rim way better, especially in transition, than Taylor. Taylor's a very frustrating player to me on offense.
Yeah, I think he was 0 for 3 from 3. He did have 5 points, but he's now like 1 of 12, something like that, from 3 on the year. Like, if he's not hitting threes, it's a little tricky in my mind to have him out there.
He shouldn't even be shooting them.
Which is tough, because when he's in the game, he's the shooting guard. So when your shooting guard's not shooting threes, or your small forward when he's in there at that's in 2024, that's a problem in its own way. So,
all right, thanks, Brian. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Pat. And then I think it all goes into the answer that Red did not have there, and he said there'll be more tests on JJ next week, and we looks like we're going to have our first visit with JJ in the 315. This year coming up on Tuesday. So hopefully we'll be able to ask JJ about that this week, where he's at. Like, I think a lot of those questions of who's playing and this and that are, like, if he was healthy, that answers most of those questions. Because the answer to almost all of those questions would have been a healthy JJ. You put JJ with Carlos. You put JJ with with Chapa. Like that's the backcourt in my mind that makes the most sense in many ways over Cuff, over Taylor. But he's not available. And again, if you're coming back from a broken hand in 4 to 6 weeks, whatever it's going to be, and hopefully we'll find out a number on it at some point. Like the odds of coming back and being as dynamic as JJ had been the last few games, I can't imagine are high. That's the answer to the question, I think. The question now is, can they tread water enough? And I'm not talking tournament. Can they tread water enough to make it to a point to, in an ACC, which does not look great, save for Duke, to be able to, do some stuff, later in conference season. All right, we're badly overdue for a break. Dave, hang on the line. We'll get to you when we get back. Your calls as well at 315-437-7644. Much more to come after this. Orange beat Albany by 17 tonight. It's Cuse Sports Talk and ESPN Radio. Yeah, Westry's dribbling was problematic. Yeah, I'm not big on Lucas Taylor. Probably, Jen. Like, it was very clear today, like, he had a different thing in his hand than he had at the Tennessee game, so, they did whatever initial evaluation and then did whatever. But yeah, if he can get back and be anything, I'm not saying Syracuse will be great, you at least have a chance to be competitive in the league. And without it being a mess, but... Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he had it was the pinky and the ring finger there were taped together. Yeah, he probably has something like you're keeping your hand stable. It's probably one of his 4th or 5th metacarpal in there. There is not, Zach. Semester's over. They are back in January at some point. Yeah, Westry, what was the deal with that back thing Westry had looped around him before the game? It wasn't even like on. He was just like kind of, I don't know what he was doing. Let's say Donnie has scored 20-plus points in 3 of the last 4 games. If you're all that sure he's going to be here next year, I don't know about that. Yeah, that's a good number, Super Cat. They had good ball movement today. Yeah, let's see. Based on frame, potential, and all that, Donnie's still a probably mid-late first-round pick. But he's not gone yet. We can dream for a moment about Donnie and Sadiq and Chapa and JJ and Cayenne all in one place. It's so hard to think about future years anymore in sports with portal and early entry and all that. You never have any idea. But I mean, the dude, like 3 of his last 4 games, he's had more than 20 points. I do love a good conspiracy theory, Dan. It would be kind of elite if just like every year he concocted a new injury. If that, my ankle. It's my tendons. They did? Supercat? You had a crew that believed Carmelo would come back for a second year? It was obvious that dude was done after the first game. So Carmelo's line at the championship celebration of after the one more year chance, I thought you went to college for 4 years. All-time elite. There was like one random afternoon for like an hour and a half that spring where there was a crazy rumor that LeBron was going to come play with Melo. What an elite afternoon that was.
This is the Burdick Lexus and Burdick BMW postgame show.
That it is. Rolling along here on this Tuesday evening. Brian Higgins with you. Phone lines open and available at 315-437-7644. And that is where we find Dave and the Cuse. Thanks for waiting through the break, Dave. What's up?
Yeah, thanks, Brian. Hey, I think we had more highlight reel plays in this game than we have the balance of the year so far this year.
Yeah, that's probably right, Dave. I think you're probably onto it.
It really is. Yeah, here I'm leaving the game, and all that I can think of is me and my daughter counted when there was about 11 minutes left in the game. Albany scored 13 straight times down the court.
Wow.
And that's all I can think about as I'm leaving here. I just can't believe the stat that bothers me the most about this team, Brian. We are traditionally a team that maybe hasn't rebounded as well over the last several years, but we've always created a lot of turnovers and gotten a lot of steals. We get no steals anymore. And I don't know what that's all about. I don't know if we have quick hands. It's very easy to just take it to the rim and score. We don't have good rim protection, and we don't get any steals. I think it was 9-1 tonight at one point. Albany led us in steals, and it's been that way every game. We get maybe 2 or 3 steals every game. And I don't know, their hands are just not in there. They're not quick, and they're not impeding dribblers this year. And that is one of the big things that's caused our problem this year, in my opinion.
Yeah, looking at the numbers, 9-1 in steals was the final total. Albany only had 5 turnovers the whole game. Syracuse had 11, which is not terrible. Albany only had 5. I will say part of this is, playing zone all of those years. Like, the zone is very conducive to the guards being able to shoot the gaps to the top and get steals and runouts that way. So it's a little different with man. I wouldn't say that's clearly the only reason why steals are lacking this year. But, I think, at least of what we are all used to watching Syracuse basketball, even if they are to come, they're just not going to come in the same way just because it's a different defense. But, it's also just not a great defensive team as part of it.
Absolutely true. And the one thing we wanted to do this year was to improve the rebounding, and I think Red has done a good job with that. Mm-hmm. It's just what has suffered is the other thing, is the steals.
I guess it's hard to have both. I guess they were plus what were they tonight? They were plus 11 on the glass, but only the one steal, and not. I don't think Albany's turnover prone, but you'd figure you'd trip into a couple by accident in the game. It is interesting how far the pendulum is swung from not being able to do one to not being able to do the other.
Exactly. And it's just not tonight's game. It's been all year. We just are not creating turnovers. We're not getting our hand in the passing lanes, and we sure as heck are having a hard time keeping guys out of the lane defensively, man-to-man. And you hope it improves. We're never going to be great at it, but the only way we're going to turn this thing around the way that we want it is if that improves greatly.
Good point from the chat too. Like the two main guys last year were Judah Mintz and Malik Brown, and obviously neither are here anymore. Malik was the king of the reach around tapping at the ball. You lose a guy like Malik. Obviously, a lot of the like you talk about going from zone to a man. That's where the individual skill went away. I think they just don't have guys like that this year that lean on that. I'm kind of surprised. Like if there was going to be one guy in the team I thought would be that guy, I thought it was going to be Jaquan Carlos, and it's just not turned out to be that guy.
Yeah. That's true. But you know what? In his defense, he's been taking a lot of ribbing this year, and he has been underwhelming. These last 2 games, he's played a hell of a point guard on the offensive side. I mean, he should have had 15 assists at Notre Dame if our guys could make shots. And tonight, he's the only guy that can handle the ball and bring it up.
Yeah.
I see now why Red has to have him in the game.
Yeah, I said we saw that when Chance was in there playing the point there for a few minutes, right? It was obvious quickly that it just wasn't going to be effective with anyone else with the ball tonight.
Yeah, and it looks like it's going to be that way all year. So, we were really critical of him, and for good reason. But boy, if he could just shoot the ball, he would be one of the better players in the league, in my opinion. That's his biggest weakness is shooting the ball. Because he sure as heck is handling it well. He's not turning it over, and he is passing it and getting it to the right guys.
Yeah, 12 assists tonight. Yeah, if a guy like that could hit threes, it certainly elevates his game for sure. All right, Dave, thanks as always for the call.
All right, thanks, Brent.
Our guy Dave in the Cuse. 12 points, 12 assists tonight for Carlos. 3 turnovers, 0 for 1 from 3. He's just not an elite outside shooter. It would be, man. It doesn't need to be elite, but, man, if he could get into the 30s percentage-wise, it just changes the geometry of what the defense is doing to you. All right, last break, last calls if you'd like after this, 315-437-7644 for you to get on this evening. We're back next. Cuse Sports Talk, ESPN Radio. There's always overreactions, LA Orange. That's the whole point of the show. Never super cat. Yeah, Garrett Schrader, BC Lion. How about that? That is a thing that happened. Look, it's Tim.
Talking to Chris Bell, he said he watched his own highlights to break out of a slump.
Chris Bell did?
Like Kobe used to do.
Yeah. He didn't make any threes, though. All of his other highlights are threes.
Right, which is what I came in to say. Like, the idea of him just like in
Oh,
his dorm
man.
room watching his old highlights of just like corner three.
Quarter 3. And then he didn't make one. 1:30, Zach. Game's at 2:30. We'll be with you 1:30 on Saturday.
He did say he.
Are you doing post-game Saturday, Tim?
Yeah.
Tim will be here for post-game.
Are you doing pregame?
I'm doing pregame.
I'll be here postgame. Yeah. Jordan said he talked a lot about his mindset, very candid and enjoyable. He said that he's probably been on social media too much, and he did what Kobe and others do to try and break out of his slump.
He went to a different part. He went to a different part of the internet. I'm not here. I'm gonna go over here. Oh, the Chris Bell experience is elite. Am I going to the game? No, LA Orange. I am not going to the game. DC is not evaluating the guy's basketball, though, man. DC's problem has nothing to do with Lampkin's basketball. DC's pissed about 28 other things. Oh, the missile. Kadri. Loved Kadri. Yeah, I thought, like, DC needs to shut up on this. Like, I understand other people's problems with Lampkin about the bat. Like, whatever. We're going to have problems with Lampkin. There's just the DC's problem with it is ridiculous. That's exactly correct, Ryan. If DC and the university weren't, like, suing each other, we wouldn't be hearing about this. Yeah, don't get Otis Hill mad. Did Otis wear? I remember Otis is 3, or 4. What did Otis wear his last year? 4? I do think he cares about the product on the court, but I think this is the loudest he's complained about anything. Like, he has not been this vocally pissed at anybody else, except for the guy that happens to be wearing his number. It's not a coincidence. Especially when he and the university are in a lawsuit over that number. Did he wear 45 for 3 years? Yeah, because he wore 4 the final 4 year, though, right? I think. I love me some Otis Hill.
This is the Burdick Lexus and Burdick BMW postgame show.
All right, last licks for calls here. If you'd like, 315-437-7644. The Orange largest margin of the season, 80 or 102-85 over Albany. Normally you'd say like 85. That would be like a winning score. 85 was the losing score tonight. Syracuse has, they've given up a lot of the old points this year. They've given up a lot of the points this year. So we'll see how that goes going forward here for the Orange. And next up here, resuming the old rivalry. It is Syracuse. It is Georgetown coming up on what day is it? Syracuse and Georgetown coming up on Saturday, 2:30, which is a perplexing start time for anything. 2:30 Saturday. We'll be here with the pregame show at 1:30. Tim Leonard, who just popped his head in the door, if you were with us on Cuse Sports Talk, will be with you postgame after the game. So looking forward to that 100th all-time meeting between Cuse and Georgetown. That's kind of cool. It also kind of tells you where things are at in the general sports world of Cuse and Georgetown. That game's on ACC Network, so not exactly prime time and front and center for that. So things to, interesting to see how stuff like that all plays out going forward. But Cuse and Georgetown, is it what it was? No. But, why the hell not? It's still a fun thing, watching the old videos, all that stuff. And looks like it should be an extremely fair fight on Saturday. Georgetown's 7-2. They haven't really played a lot. Their 2 losses are the 2 main teams they played. They lost to Notre Dame. That was early in the season when Notre Dame was still healthy. They lost by 19 when they had all of their guys. So that was a little bit different kind of situation. And then they lost to West Virginia last time out. Their 7 wins. They blew out Albany. They really haven't played a whole mess of a lot of teams in their 7 wins. So they're, while they have 2 more wins than Syracuse, I'd say they've played significantly less tricky games than the Orange have in Syracuse's 4 losses this year. So potato as we get into it for Saturday. But Cuse and Georgetown will be tipping off at 2:30 in the Dome, the 100th all-time meeting between the old-time Big East rivals from yesteryear. With that, that'll wrap things up today. Full lineup for you tomorrow. What do we got? Orange Nation at noon. We got Cody Mack with the sports show at 3. I'll be with you all at 4. David Hale, ESPN, and more coming up in the 315 tomorrow. With that, have a good night, everybody. We're back here on all these airwaves tomorrow on Cuse Sports Talk and ESPN Radio.
If you've got a car lover on your